Hey guys, it's Chris. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a few books that I've read since the last book chat video. So hopefully some of these books might give you some ideas of potentially what to read or what to avoid. And yeah, I love just chatting about books, and that's what I'm here to do today. So I'm going to keep you updated with what I have read. So let's get right into it. The first book that I read, Benji read first, and then we watched the movie. So I hadn't read the book, I watched the movie first, which I normally try not to do, but I did, and then the movie made me cry, and I was like, hold on a minute. I gotta read it, Benji really liked it, and I normally trust what he what he thinks about books, no shade. So I ended up reading the book, and oof, you guys, this is my new Roman Empire. Do people still say that? That book is Never Let Me Go. Let me see it. A little makeup view. Ooh, okay, where do I even start with this book? So let me just get to the plot. The plot is about these three characters, Kathy, Ruth, and Tommy, and they grow up in this idyllic, yes, idyllic, is that how you say that? Idyllic boarding school in the English countryside. It's very beautiful, and there's a bunch of students there where they're raised by their caregivers until they are around 18. It's very secluded, and the students are always being told how special they are, and they're being fed these super nice meals. And they do art, and they do sports, and they have their cliques, and all the while they're just being reminded again of their importance and keeping themselves clean and healthy. In the book is the main character, Kathy, reflecting on her younger years at this boarding school as she's now an adult. And at the very beginning of the book, we find out that she's a caregiver. We don't really quite understand the extent of that until later. I'll let you know right now, this book does have some sci-fi elements. They're kind of hinted at, and they're not very explicitly said. The story overall is just so, like, touches the core of me. Oh, touching the mic of me. It was so heartbreaking, but so beautiful and gorgeous, and the imagery and the writing. Wow. And honestly, I thought the movie was pretty good too, because I watched the movie first and decided to read the book, and I think it holds up pretty well. So if you're looking for like a very vague science fiction, again, I can't really even say that much without giving away a lot of the plot, because then I'll just end up spoiling it for you. But you know what, let me just recommend this regardless of what you want. I think you should read this. That was the most lacking explanation for a book I've ever given, but maybe just trust me on this one, because I just don't even know what to say. So this next book I got from Powell's in Portland. If you don't know what Powell's is, it's this massive bookstore that's an entire block. I love just wandering in there for forever. And I found this book on sale, and I normally don't read graphic novels. It is a collection of comics, sort of, or illustrations. And what got me was the title. It is Everything is Beautiful and I'm Not Afraid. So here's this. The title of this really got me, and it made me want to feel that for myself. Like, everything is beautiful and I'm not afraid. I wanted to feel that, and I was flipping through it, and I was really interested. So I picked it up. It was on sale, and I had never read something with a large amount of illustrations, and so I grabbed it and I read it. So Everything is Beautiful and I'm Not Afraid is a collection of comics centering around the main character, who is a child of an immigrant or an immigrant family, and they are grappling with queerness and gender identity. And so a lot of comics have that as the central theme. It does have a very memoir-esque feel, despite the main character being fictional. I think it does reflect the author's life a lot. I think the author themselves is the child of an immigrant family and grapples with queerness and gender identity. So it does have that reflection of the author in it, but I think the character in this is fictional. This would be really impactful if you relate to the author more. One thing I will say about this is that the author really like bears their soul. Like, wow, this is super, super personal and so beautiful. I will say my one critique personally is that it did feel a little bit repetitive. Again, it's a collection of separate comics, and they all have very similar themes, very similar emotions are being evoked. So I think towards the end, I was feeling very like, oh, I had felt this way or read this in an earlier comic. But I think that's just the nature of it being a collection of comics and not a continuous through line of story. I think you would like this if you want something that is moving, very food for thought, kind of self-help, introspective works of art, and also the art itself is beautiful. Let me find something. Like, I love the art style so much. It's really incredible. Oh my gosh. A bookmark from Powell's. I have been collecting bookmarks, so this is fun. I didn't realize that I left this in here, so that's awesome. So yeah, if you want to dive into some comics by an incredible artist, and if you kind of struggle with maybe your identity or your family or your role in society, I think this would be really great for you. This was my first graphic novel comic vibe. So again, I think I would have connected to it had I related more to the author. But again, you don't need to fully relate to someone in order to be empathetic of their struggles and things of that nature. So yeah, everything is beautiful and I'm not afraid. Check it out if you want. So following on the tail end of this, I thought, let me give another graphic novel a shot. And I drove Benji to the dentist and was waiting for him to get out of the dentist. And so I was walking around Target and I found this book on sale that I should not have purchased. I should have just looked it up online because it is a webcomic that was published. I'm laughing because I didn't like it. It's called Gremoryland. This caught my eye because what an insane cover. And I liked the premise, which is kids trapped in a evil theme park. And it's kind of like a horror, wait, I don't know why I'm showing it that way. It's like a horror graphic novel of these kids in Gremoryland, and they have to escape, and it's a horror theme park. Okay, that's the vibe. I can tell that I would have loved this if I were 14 or 15, and I regret purchasing this. Again, it's not horrible. It's just I'm not the age demographic anymore. You know, I think I might have aged out of this. But the plot is that how many of them are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. These 6 kids are invited to Gremoryland to view the theme park. One of them is an influencer, and so she's like trying to vlog. And then they get trapped there, and there a bunch of horrific things happened, and the relationships and past of the kids are unraveled. So that's kind of what's going on. Gremory is an insane mascot. Like, Gremory? It's just crazy. But I will tell you, if I was a freshman in high school, I would have eaten this up. Okay, this is volume 1. It's a web comic, so there's much more that I absolutely will not be reading, but I will tell you, I got this to kill time while I was waiting for Benji to get out of the dentist, and it definitely killed time. Wow. I think I need to try a different graphic novel. I think I need to try something more adult. There's not much more to say about that. If you want something that's kind of entertaining and a little bit goofy, then again, I don't think it was meant to be goofy. It was meant to be pretty heavy, and I think parts of it could have been if I wasn't, 24. So that's that, Gremoryland. Okay, if you watch my previous videos, you know that my favorite book of last year was Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Faeries, which I loved so much. And the second book came out, Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. You guys, if you're sleeping on this, stop sleeping on this, okay? This is incredible, cozy fantasy with academic elements and even some romance, even though I don't really like romance that much, but it doesn't matter in this because it's so good. I met one of my viewers at one of Benji's plant swaps. Her name's Lucy. Lucy, if you're watching this. And she said that she read the first one because I recommended it, and she didn't really like it that much because it was a little bit boring to her, I think. But what I like about this book is that not an insane amount of crazy things happen. Like, it's more cerebral and kind of calm. Even the action feels cozy to me. I don't know how to explain it. But this is a continuation of the first book where Emily now is trying to make a map of all of the fairy realms. And I won't say too much without spoiling the first and second, but I think this was a great continuation of the series. I love Emily Wilde and I love Wendell, my king, I love him so much. And there's a third coming and I'm so happy. Heather Fawcett, girl, I'm obsessed with you. Thank you for these. Emily is just one of my favorite protagonists that I've read in a while. She's just such a breath of fresh air. She's so bad with people and horrible at social situations and honestly can be kind of rude without meaning to be. I just think she's so funny, and her relationship with Wendell I think is great. He's a great foil to her, very handsome, charming, goofy, and then she's this like really antisocial academic mind on fairies all the time. I love it. I can't wait for number 3. If you want a cozy but academic book about fairies and an adventure into fae and then some romance. Again, I'm learning that I don't really like romance that much, but in this, I do. I like them a lot. So maybe I just need a certain type of romance. Check out this series if you want and let me know if you read it and you like it. If you don't like it, that's okay. Okay, so the last book I got from Book of the Month, not an ad, just a fact of what happened. And I had seen it on Book Talk. Again, I'm starting to not trust Book Talk. You know, I shouldn't have trusted it from the beginning, but I don't think I trust you guys. This book is super popular, Divine Rivals. Also, my viewer that talked to me, Lucy, told me to read this book as well. And I think we just might have a little bit of different taste because I didn't really love Divine Rivals. I'm not too crazy about it. This book has helped me learn about my taste that I don't really like romance. And this is pretty much all romance. It's like fantasy, romantasy. I think a lot of people watching will love this book, so definitely don't let me deter you. This is super popular, and I think it's popular for a very good reason, especially if you like romance. So the plot of Divine Rivals is there is a war going on between two gods, and our main character, Iris, her brother goes off to fight in that war, and she starts writing letters to him and then slipping them under her wardrobe, and then someone starts writing back through her magical wardrobe, where the letter will slip back out and she'll read it. And so she ends up writing to this mysterious person, slipping the letters into her wardrobe, getting the letters back. And she starts falling in love with whoever's writing these letters. Meanwhile, she is fighting for a position at the local newspaper company, Newspaper Tribune. She wants to be a columnist, and she's fighting for that role with this handsome, dashing, smart, yet kind of an asshole person named Roman, and he's also fighting for the columnist role. I'll leave that open, but basically magical typewriters, enemies to lovers, a war going on. That's as much as I can give you. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on. I will say I did like the boy, Roman. I did like him. I liked his character, and I thought he was interesting. Again, I'm just learning that I don't really like romance that much, and that was the main plot point of this book, was the developing romance. So just a personal thing. Definitely check it out if you like romance. I can tell that it is a good romance book, especially if you like enemies to lovers, then you will love this book. But again, not really for me. I don't regret reading it though. I'm happy I know what the hype was about. Oh my gosh, there's a lizard in the house. A big lizard, okay. So I'm gonna wrap this up and go catch that lizard and get him outside. So yeah, those are the books that I was trying to catch you guys up on of what I've read. And for the next video, I will be reading your favorite books that you sent me on Instagram. I'm super excited for this. I've got some ones that I've been meaning to read that you said are your favorites. So look forward to that. I'm gonna say bye, Theo. Oh, Theo's sleeping. Okay. Thank you guys. I'll see you in the next video. Happy reading.